You're trying to get a buzz.
Right.
Trying to get a buzz. Cool. Hello and welcome to Bernard's Regards. I'm your host, Alex Rouse. With me always is my co-host, Luke Rouse.
Glad to be here, Alex.
Good to have you. And special guest, Joe Regard IV. Thank you for being here.
Glad to be here.
Good to be here. We start off with the Battle of the Bulge. That is the Horse Sticks versus the Dallas Big D.
One half of the bulge here.
One half of the bulge here. Yeah. A big part of it, apparently, according to his team. And he's been doing pretty well this year.
Luke's been good. Luke's been good. I mean, Drew Brees is on an absolute heater of a season.
Yeah.
Ingram's coming to his own as well.
Yeah. And they've got a good matchup this week. I think Ingram's going to be the maybe not a ton of yards, but 2 TDs at least in that matchup. Yeah. I struggle to see him struggling. I don't know. Like Philadelphia just hasn't been a very good team, especially in the NFC.
Yeah, and I think the difference in this game is Luke's ability to score touchdowns. You just you look at Chris's roster, and it's like, okay, Matt's going to put up touchdowns at quarterback. Yeah. What's Dalvin going to do? He just got back. You don't know about Ito. It's really still Tevin's backfield. Is Devontae going to come back? So, yeah.
And I do think you bring up a good point. I think the whole matchup's going to come down to touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because Matt Ryan could play horribly against Dallas.
Right.
Which means that Ito and Sanu end up playing horribly. Yeah. Or Matt Ryan starts putting up points.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean he's going to Julio. Julio's got, 2 TDs on the year. He could be going to Sanu. He could be going to Ito. Ito could get some short yardage TDs. He could get some long yardage TDs. But Dallas has a weird, strong front, and yet they've given up a lot of yards, a lot of TDs.
Yeah.
They're not doing well either.
And Dallas is invested in Zeke, I know, speaking personally.
Yeah.
So Dallas's ideal game plan is to run the ball and to control the offense and keep the ball out of the Falcons' hands.
Yeah.
So maybe Matt only puts up 21 this game because Dallas has time of possession.
Yeah, and maybe 21. He could put up 17.
Right.
The problem is, though, on the other side, you have Drew Brees, who had a bad week last week, could have put up 40 and did 28.
Yeah.
That's a bad week. I think one player that could do really well this week is Adam Thielen for Luke. I know Thielen's been great all year, but I think the big thing is the Bears have a super stout front seven.
Yep.
They've got good safeties, but Thielen always finds a way to make room. They're going to need to air it out. I think Mitchell Trubisky's finding a weird seam.
Yeah.
Luke's got Jordan Howard in his flex. I think that Bears Vikings matchup will be the decider rather than any other matchup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
on the other end of Thielen is Chris got Diggs, so it's who wins the Thielen Diggs matchup.
Yeah, but Diggs is kind of hurt right now.
Kind of hurt.
Yeah.
Kind of hurt. Yeah.
All right, moving on. But I think for me, I think Luke takes it. I think Chris is doing too bad.
I can't go against Luke either.
Yeah.
I think Luke takes it.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bulge goes to the Big D.
Yeah, the Big D. Yeah, the horse sticks are not coming out of the bulge. They're kind of shrunken.
I mean, they're just
little pony.
Not much of a bulge for a horse.
Yeah.
It's kind of there.
Yeah.
Big D, it's
a little Sebastian.
Yeah. A little Sebastian.
Yeah, a little Sebastian. Yeah. Though kind of little Sebastian is packing in Parks and Rec. He's got a huge
I'm
dick.
bulging right now.
And he's got a lot of bastard kids. It's weird. But yeah, anyway, we're going for the Big D. Next up, the Des Moines Dad Bods versus Titan Deviants. Vodka hits hard, kids. Or water, I don't know. I remember my first...
Big D.
I was about to say back to the action. The Dad Bods versus, hopefully, what Thanos will undo to the Avengers. I'll let y'all talk about this one.
Well, we got a close matchup this week. This is the
closest projection, which is, I don't believe in projections, but 0.8, less than a point separating right now.
Yeah, so it's projected to be a close game. I'm going to go ahead and favor Alex in this one. I really like Lamar. No, who am I thinking of?
I think I'm going to take Alex this week. Alex has been playing really good lately. He's got a couple key matchups that are pretty favorable. Antonio Brown, Amari Cooper against Dallas. Golden Tate could have a good week. However, Alex is one of only 2 teams to have multiple 70-point weeks.
Wow.
That's just him and Chris, the horse stick. So Alex is
to
absolutely
be in.
he's capable of shitting the bed and just laying a big old turd burger on the table.
Yeah.
So maybe he keeps it up. Rogers had a decent 21-point outing, but like I said, the matchups are good, and you never know about Lamar Miller either. Lamar Miller might have a good week.
Yeah, I think Alex's team has always been the Rogers-Brown combo, and that's always kind of carried him. And with Rogers putting 20 solid, I'll take that from Rogers. So already one half of his little duo doing well. So I like Alex in this one as well.
Yeah.
I think Antonio Brown's going to have another big week, and
yeah. Well, congrats to Mark on the loss and the new baby boy.
Oh gosh! Yeah, congratulations, Mark. We're happy for you, and maybe after this game we'll call him Alex instead.
Oh, got him.
Oh. Next up, we have the Mount Olympus Megalodons.
Jonas team
Versus the Chicago Kickbacks, Tony's other, only American team.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's got the Chicago team and he's got the Scottish team.
The Scottish team. Yeah, great teams.
Bi-coastal, international.
Might as well. Attack it from both ends.
Tony's a classy man.
Classy. Yeah. Gotta take it that way. Especially if Jonah's going to be up there with the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. And under the sea. He's going Mariana Trench all the way up to Mount Olympus. He's attacking both sides. No. Just like Tony in another one.
Yes, okay.
You know what I mean? It's tough to call a game when the projections are not set.
Michael's projected 30. Which... I thought there was a mistake on
I thought a glitch.
The app, to be honest.
Yeah.
I hope he sets a lineup.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, there's going to be repercussions or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard week. He's got 2 New England players on bye. He's got San Francisco on bye. He's got Miami on bye. And the very stout Bills defense, who is complemented greatly by the amazing Bills offense.
Yeah. Oh,
they're also on bye though.
Also.
So and then he's got the strong wide receiver 2 slot filled with Cooper Kupp, who just had a successful surgery.
Yeah.
So maybe Tony/Michael is looking up on the successful surgery, thinking.
You'd think. No, what's crazy is you'd think that you would put him in your IR, but Marshawn Lynch is already on IR. But guess who's in his IR position? Is that Marshawn Lynch? It's already 3rd string New England Patriots running back.
Rex. Jackson Burkhead.
If he was healthy, he'd be behind Sonny Michel and James White, who, guess what, is already on Michael's team on bye week. And so I don't even know if Michael has enough players. He might take the Chris route of just not picking anybody up off the waiver wire. Michael's been able to kind of skirt by with last-second changes and Tony tips and getting Collins back every now and then and playing him to get a few TDs that the Ravens can put up. I don't see how...
I don't like the second half of the season for Michael with Kupp gone. I think this is where it starts to go down.
And it's probably most consistent player being out this week. I know Tyreek Hill puts up big numbers, but George Kittle has been shown to be, if we may use a Tony term, matchup proof and QB proof.
Yeah.
He is putting up like 10 points a game as a tight end at least, with tight ends putting up like 4.6.
Which is applicable
it's been rough.
any week but this week.
Yeah,
because Kittle
he's on bye week.
So I think this is...
it's a rough one.
It's a rough one for Michael, and...
Even if he can fill the matchups, Kirk Cousins, if he puts him in, you got Kirk Cousins
he might
against
as well
Chicago.
Not fill the
He might as well. Galladay might put up some numbers. O.J. Howard is probably a good play. Collins won't be. Gabriel is like a 4th, 5th string receiver. Yeah. I just don't see him even putting up points. And Jonas actually set a good lineup this week.
Full strength outside of Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
But other than that, Jonas looking good.
Thomas is huge right now. Gordon's huge. Derrick Henry, they're finally using him rightly in Tennessee. And he's I mean, they put him in the Wildcat this week, and
he's getting out-snapped, but as long as he gets the touchdown opportunities, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I think Jonah's team is very boomer bust.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of personality on that team, and
he's got talent.
Yeah.
But, I
mean Ridley, Olsen, Newton, Gordon, that team can put up points. So Jonah could make a run, but it just really depends on how this back half of the season goes.
Yeah.
But, this game is just, I don't even know where to talk about it, honestly. This is a joke.
I still think it's crazy that Michael has Rex Burkhead as his IR position. Tony has a Le'Veon Bell who's not even on the IR; he's just out. And Michael's like, I think Rex Burkhead is in the same category as Le'Veon Bell or another starting running.
We talk about the horse sticks with 2 empty bench spots. You now have Cup and Lynch, who aren't playing the rest of the year on this roster. Plus a third of the IR.
Cup is a keeper. I'd move him to the IR. Drop both Burkhead and Lynch.
Yeah, is Michael planning on keeping all of these injured players?
Burkhead could be the next Wes Welker, though. He could be like, I'm done. Like, I got injured too much. Like, I'm kind of. Yeah. Last year was fine. He didn't play snap this year. He kept him literally all year.
Well,
that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm taking Joe.
and another player on Michael's team, if we may just keep shitting on him.
Yeah.
Mike Evans. What's he been doing this year?
I don't know.
Hasn't been the same.
No, and I understand not having a QB to throw to you. However, both QBs aren't throwing to you, which is like worse.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. All right.
Yeah, this is no brainer.
Yeah.
My vote's with the Dons.
Maybe we kick Michael back to like last season.
Can we relegate teams in this league, like English Premier League? Like, can we send you to the minor leagues
for like a year?
Yeah.
No, just for the last half of the season.
Yeah.
Just a nice easy one.
Just divide up the rest of the
season. See in the consolation bracket.
And we'll see what happens with come Sunday at 12:45. But I still see this going.
Well, that's when Tony logs in and sets the roster.
I think we'll move on from that. Next up, we have the Lagavulin 16. Good year. Okay year. Versus the Cordoba Gauchos. With our main man, Joe Regard.
The Gaucho present.
With the Gaucho present, yeah. Right now, the projections don't look great just because Tony's team always has...
They never do.
They have crazy projections.
I've never seen anything like it.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I think Tony's team this week is a little over projected, personally.
Again.
I know Tony's got a few. He's got a few matchups.
Tell me about the matchups.
Listen, Pittsburgh's playing away. Wentz is the number 20 QB. You have Devontae Adams, who put up a pretty good.
Solid. You say that for sure.
Yeah. I think Trey Burton should have a good week. I don't know though how Sanders is going to play. Gurley should put up a good week by running all over the Chiefs, but honestly,
Todd is Todd, and Todd's going
to do his thing.
But that's the thing about Tony every week. In my opinion, he's got these matchup proof. I mean,
and he should be. He should be this week. However, I know Joe's going to come with some stats in a little bit, but Gurley scored less than 20 one time.
I believe so.
I think it's like 13.6 points, and that week. How many points did Tony get? Do you remember?
I do not.
He still is putting up points even when Gurley's not.
Yeah.
What I think this week though is going to happen. It's not so much that Tony will severely underperform. Tony's lowest week is still in the 110s. I think Tony hits a 120. I think Joe has the better matchups though to push him over 130, maybe even 140. I think Zeke goes off for another 30. Watson comes back, and I think Watson puts up a 30. I like Woods this week a lot.
Yep.
After Cooper Kupp is gone.
Cup's out, yeah.
Cup's out. I think Woods is huge.
Yeah,
I think for your game too, Cooks is going to be big.
I think so as well.
I think Jeffrey is poised for a good game against New Orleans. New Orleans is a little beat up on defense.
Yeah.
And I think Wentz and Jeffrey are really getting a good kind of sense going on. Even with Golden Tate coming in,
I think Jeffrey's if Wentz is throwing touchdowns to Jeffrey,
I'm
all right with that.
Take that.
Yeah.
+2.
Yeah.
Plus
I'll take that.
Yeah. Even if you get though what Tony got with Adams on Thursday night with the 10 receptions, 16 points. Like, as long as you're beating projections,
it's all about touchdowns.
It's rough that Joe starts with Jimmy Graham at 1.7.
Yes.
Getting less
you
hate
to see that.
Getting less than 5 points, like less than the projections is rough. But 2, against the Seahawks, where Rodgers should have been petty and been throwing some of those short yardage
Jimmy's
TDs.
old team.
Yeah. I mean, that Jimmy sweet spot right in the 2-yard TD range.
Yep.
Aaron Jones was having a great game in that first half, and I think probably vultured a few TDs that could have gone Jimmy's way. In the second half,
another half of football.
I know, but they didn't play the same football.
No, I think Aaron Jones
and I know Tony
6 carries in the second
half.
half.
Yeah. Tony's probably more upset
that
Jimmy didn't get a TD just because the Packers lost. But
what makes Tony dangerous is he's got scores on his team. And Tony will go a week. Like most weeks, everybody on Tony's lineup scores a touchdown, and that's just hard to beat.
Yeah.
So the 2 weeks, weeks 3 and 7, that Tony wasn't the highest scorer, and also week 9 when Zach just balled out. He had Ebron, who threw up like a 2 or a 3 and didn't have a touchdown, and AJ Green also didn't have a great game. AJ's out, and he's not starting Ebron this week, so I had poor tight end performance. Really, I'm really hoping for Tony to have poor tight end performance.
But he's also playing Sanders.
You did a 1-for-1 there.
Yeah, so it's like your players have to score against Tony, otherwise you're just not going to win because he's getting touchdowns top to bottom.
Tony's receivers have been his weak point all year, though.
Yeah.
You know, like with Green getting injured, and it's not necessarily his fault. It's more of a sometimes when he plays them, but a lot of times.
Well, I mean, he just built the team around running backs. We're around the
which is great. Yeah, don't get me. And he's got the fifth probably on his IR.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Still a rule thing I want to go over. But I think Sanders has a rough game. I think Sanders has a rough end of the year with Demaryius Thomas going out.
Yeah,
people being able to double him everywhere.
He's getting the number 1 coverage now because Demaryius Thomas is gone. Yeah. So I think Emmanuel Sanders is going to trend down, but
Luke thinks he's matchup proof though. Who's your vote for this game?
Tony. Every week, baby. Mm-hmm. Joe's team is good. I like Joe's team a lot, actually. I mean, some stud running backs. But the thing is, unless every player overperforms, I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think the two people on Joe's team, because I think you're right. I think Tony's team is matchup proof. They'll put up 10 to 15 points. They're not going to do these 1.7 point games outside of maybe a tight end or somebody like that.
It could happen.
Yeah, but I think for Joe, he needs Mixon to return to form.
Yeah.
I think McCaffrey's pretty solid now, so I'm not worried about him.
McCaffrey's going to put
but
up 20.
It's Hilton. Joe has had tremendous success in the past with Hilton doing very well. Andrew Luck has gone week in and week out of he'll do amazing. He'll throw for 400 or 500 yards, and then he just can't throw the football. And they'll just hand the ball off to Marlon Mack, and he'll get 30 points. Great for Mark. Hopefully,
Hilton hasn't been eaten all year though.
He hasn't, and he's going against Tennessee, who has a very good.
We've seen him.
Yeah, and Hilton's going against a Tennessee defense that isn't the best against receivers, but they don't give up a ton of points. They play solid D. So I think those are the two matchups. If Mixon can return to form and get a 20-25 spot with McCaffrey and Zeke probably doing the same.
Is this your upset alert this week?
Say it. Do it. Do it.
Joe by 2.
I can't believe it.
Joe by 2 with a fourth quarter T.Y. Hilton TD. You heard it here first.
All right.
And Luke's gonna say Tony by 20.
No,
but I think Joe puts up a really good performance. I think Tony he's projected at 140.2. I think he finishes in the 120s. I don't think he puts up the huge numbers this week. With Kamara, I think he's lowered his bar with Ingram coming back and running strong. I just think it's going to be a good one. All right.
I'm with the hot take.
Yeah. All right. And now we come to probably the matchup of the week.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think they're, even though it's not necessarily the closest projected right now, me and Mark are the closest projected right now, I think it will end up being the closest game, or at least the potential for the closest game.
Yeah, Zach is really hitting his stride right now. He started the season off 1-4. Since then, 4-1. He's sitting at 5 5 right now. He's won 4 of his last 5.
Yeah.
He's hitting his stride, and Zach was my number 2 before the season started, and he's starting to show me why. He's got those strong focal points in Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette could be back, and that would be
He is back.
He's healthy.
He is back.
He's
Yeah.
I mean, he had a good week last week.
Yeah, good week last week.
That's
yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going against Pittsburgh, you never know if Fournette's going to do that great just because I think it's Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah.
As long as he gets the touchdown.
As long as he can get a touchdown or two. I think Gene's big thing this week is he's lived and died by the Chiefs. And he always, like when Gene has done well, historically, when he went behind Peyton Manning and the Broncos, he won. I think he's actually made it to the championship.
Yeah.
And I know you were in it, but it was the worst championship.
Yeah,
no matter how you get it, no matter how you get the boot, you got the boot. But they play the Rams this week, who are on a war path to be undefeated.
Yeah.
And
Well, they lost to the Saints.
no, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Did they just lose to the Saints?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
No.
Rams are 9-1.
They're 9-1.
9-1.
All right, my apologies. They're not trying to lose another game though. My bad, looking at bad stats. But Mahomes is going to be going up against a different front than he's normally going against.
Yeah.
He's got Kareem Hunt who's going to be running against Aaron Donald and Sue and a lot of big front runner players. Kelsey's going to have to get off the line, but they're going to probably have to use Kelsey to pass block a lot more rather than have him go out and be a dump.
So the
dump option.
Rams definitely have one of the best defenses in the league, but you saw last week against the Saints, it can turn into a shootout.
Yeah.
And these are probably, I mean, I think it's the Saints, Chiefs, and Rams, top 3 most explosive offenses in the league.
But they're also the top 3 rated teams in the league.
Yeah,
all
so
around.
you've got 2 of them going against each other. Zach had a great start with Aaron Jones. I mean, it's always good to get that 20 spot, that 20 burger on a Thursday. That's nice.
That's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
So I think Zach's sitting pretty good. Dak against Atlanta, it's a strong play because Atlanta's defense is hot garbage.
Hot garbage.
I think Dak though actually is my bust this week. I think everybody's expecting him to go off because
Dak's a bust every week.
He really is. But I think Dak is the reason why Zach may falter.
Yeah.
I think Dak is
Zach.
his live or die player. I don't think it comes down to whether Julio gets a TD or not. I don't think it's whether Hopkins does. I think both of those players perform. I think Gene's players perform. If Dak can get plus 20, over 20, I think Zach wins. I think if he gets under 20, I think it's going to be that close. Like, I think it's going to be
So I think
a few points based
I
off
think
of
Dak is Zach's difference maker, and I actually think that Gene's defense with the Cardinals is his difference maker because they're going up against Oakland, who's just phoned it in.
Yeah.
They're going for the first pick, nothing else.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think the Cardinals, whose defense really isn't that bad, it's really their offense that's been the issue this year.
Yeah.
I think the Cardinals could throw up 15, and when you get double digits plus from your defense, it's always.
They've got a good.
And I think Gene just picked them off the wire this week as well, so that could be big.
They're that streaming defense. Like if you're going to go against the Browns or it's the Raiders this year.
Yeah.
I think the Cardinals probably get up big, but they got Patrick Peterson, a few DB people that are going to make a lot of interceptions. Make a lot of
I think
turnovers.
Zach's hot, and I'm gonna take Zach in this one.
Taking Zach on this one.
I'm taking Zach on this one.
Joe.
I'm going to go with Zach, the combination of Fournette and Jones and Julio Jones. I think that's going to be the difference.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
My pick is Gene. I think his player that wins it for him is Keenan Allen. I'm looking for a 2 TD game from Keenan over Denver. I don't think he's been shown out, and I think Phillip Rivers has kind of gone a little shorter game. He was number 3 quarterback in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
He's now number 12. I think look for him to come back a little bit against that Denver team in the later games.
Gene definitely has firepower. So.
Yeah, I mean,
Anything
Gene's like number 2 ranked team right now, so he definitely can bring it. And I know you mentioned Zach being hot, but Gene is hot right now.
Yeah. Is hot
Put
as
up a
well.
lot of points, and
It's the matchup of the week in my opinion.
Definitely.
So
definitely
we'll see what happens.
See what happens. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for our first menage a trois, if you will, and you will. As always, I'm your host, Alex Rouse, with my always co-host, Luke Rouse,
Pleasure.
and our guest this week, Joe Regard IV.
Thank you.
This has been Bernard's Regards. See you next week.
Nice.